Hi, my name is Claire Nance, and this is my assignment for understanding disability categories and specific learning disabilities. Understanding learning disabilities is not just an optional specialty reserved for special educators. It is a core responsibility for all teachers who hope to teach real students rather than just the idealized ones. Through the course resources, my own research, and by completing parts 1 and 2 of this assignment, I have learned that knowledge of the definitions, characteristics, prevalence, and causes of learning disabilities equip teachers to recognize learners more accurately, respond appropriately, and advocate effectively. Learning disabilities are a lot more common than many people assume. They are often invisible and are frequently misunderstood. In an article published in the National Library of Medicine, it states that specific learning disabilities represent spectrum disorders, each occurring in approximately 5 to 15% of school-aged population. In addition to risk for academic deficiencies and related functional, social, emotional, and behavioral difficulties, those with specific learning disabilities often have a poorer long-term social and vocational outcome. Without this foundational knowledge, teachers may misinterpret a student's struggles as laziness, lack of motivation, or behavioral problems. Recognizing developmental and individual differences can allow teachers to distinguish between normal variation in learning and signs that warrant further support. This ensures that students are identified early and are given equal access to instruction. In an article titled The Importance of Learning Disability Awareness in America from Learning Disabilities Association of America, it says that we must rely on our schools to be aware of learning disabilities, identify them appropriately, and deliver research-based instruction so that students can make progress in all curriculum areas. This is really important when planning lesson instruction because it's essential to consider each student's cognitive, linguistic, social, and emotional patterns of development. Cognitively, students process information at different speeds and through different ways, which means that instruction must be flexible and multisensory. Linguistically, students may struggle with decoding, expressive language, or comprehension. This requires things such as visual supports, vocabulary instruction, and opportunities for oral processing. Socially, students with learning disabilities may experience isolation or reduced confidence. Making collaboration and structured peer interactions is so important for them. Emotionally, repeated academic failure can lead to anxiety, frustration, and helplessness. Thoughtful instructional planning addresses not only academic content, but also the emotional needs of students. This provides predictability, routines, clear expectations, and frequent opportunities for success. Instruction that honors the whole child is more effective and more helpful for educators. For part 2 of this assignment, I found that the videos were especially powerful in helping articulate the lived experience of students with dyslexia and other disabilities. Watching simulations of the distorted text, the delayed processing, or the overwhelming sensory input made the descriptions very tangible. These videos illustrated how exhausting learning can be for students with dyslexia, even when they are highly intelligent and motivated. Such visual and experimental tools are valuable when explaining learning disabilities to non-disabled peers, colleagues, or family members because they foster empathy rather than pity. The videos also highlight the importance of collaboration. By sharing these observations with general education teachers, specialists, and families, educators can build a shared understanding of students' needs and work together to implement the best practices, such as structured literacy approaches, assistive technology, and accommodations that reduce the cognitive load while preserving the student's motivation. A basic understanding of how disabilities affect learning and daily function enables teachers to respond with intentionality rather than reaction. Teachers who understand disabilities are better prepared to design inclusive classrooms that normalize differences and value diverse ways of learning. This understanding supports proactive classroom management, differentiated instruction, and fair assessment practices. It also helps teachers communicate high expectations paired with appropriate supports. This reinforces the message that disability does not define potential. An inclusive environment emerges when students feel seen, supported, and respected, and when diversity is treated as a strength rather than a disruption. Applying the tenets of the Christian worldview in the CCCE College of Education guiding documents further deepens this work. From a Christian perspective, every student is created in the image of God and possesses inherent worth, regardless of ability. The statement on the integration of faith and work calls educators to serve with compassion, humility, and justice. This aligns directly with advocating for students with exceptionalities. The CCCE academic program competencies and the COE professional dispositions empathize ethical practice, collaboration, and respect for diversity. These principles guide teachers to support students' social and emotional needs with patience and empathy. They also remind educators to walk alongside parents and guardians who may be grieving, confused, or overwhelmed by a diagnosis. By listening without judgment, offering clear information, and partnering with families in hope rather than fear, teachers can reflect both professional competence and Christ centered care. In doing so, education becomes not just instruction, but an act of service rooted in dignity and grace.